back to writing our dialogue. Dialogue not only tells what characters say and feel, but it also gives information about what they're doing. Remember, dialogue can be something funny, exciting, or scary happening to our characters. Dialogue is written in a special form. We have quotation marks that go around a character's words, and then we have that comma that separates dialogue from the rest of the sentence. A new paragraph begins each time a different person speaks. So here is our pre-writing flow chart here. We have columns for our characters. So we have two characters. Our prompt is two characters that find something and decide what to do with it. So here's my first character. We have actions, what they say, and their feelings. And my second character and their actions, speech, and feelings. So it would be interesting for the characters maybe to find an old mysterious cabin in the woods. The characters in our example are brothers Caleb and Kyle. And I got to think about what feelings the characters could have, because they could be excited to find this old mysterious cabin, or they could be scared. So I'm going to write one of those feelings in each of the brothers' charts so that they're different. So one is going to feel scared and one is going to be excited. So here is an example of a filled out pre-writing. Okay, we have our actions. He pulls on his brother's arm. He's nervous. He's scared. He's uncomfortable. He hides behind a tree. His speech is very informal. He tries to talk his brother into leaving and explains it's not a good idea to go inside. Okay, that's Caleb. My second character is Kyle. He looks in the windows and knocks on the door. He's super curious and he's brave, obviously, and he's excited. His speech is also going to be informal as he talks to Caleb, and he's going to talk about what might be inside. Okay, so you are going to copy this pre-writing chart onto a piece of paper and use our prompt to complete your own. You can use ideas, take some time and brainstorm those ideas, and then save your column chart for what we're going to do next. So pause the video. Plan your dialogue between your two characters, like the example here, and come back to the video once you've done that. Now that you have your pre-writing done, before we draft, let's talk about how good readers use different kinds of sentences to make dialogue more interesting. So we could use questions or commands, statements, and even exclamations to make our dialogue sound more like the way you would talk to someone. Okay, so here's an example of a weak dialogue. Oliver came to dinner. We had a good time. We're camping in the backyard tonight. Here's a stronger example. Guess who came to dinner? Oliver. He's so much fun. We're camping in the backyard tonight. Why does the second set of sentences sound more like a real person? Right, we asked a question, we had exclamation in there. We're using different kinds of sentences, and it makes it sound more interesting and more natural. So using your column chart that you just filled out for pre-writing, you are going to begin to draft your dialogue. So if I were going to show you an example, okay, when Caleb is scared, he might yell out a command to his brother, "Stop!" And that would show Caleb's feelings. So detail and dialogue tell characters' feelings, speech, and actions. And here's an example of a draft I might write between Caleb and Kyle about the cabin in the woods. Okay, let's read. "Do you think anyone lives here?" Caleb asked, staring at the old cabin. Okay, question. So we're varying our sentences. "I don't know," Kyle said, peeking in the dusty windows. "Let's check it out." He raised his fist to knock on the door. We have very informal language going on here. And then we have our command. Stop! Caleb yelled. Look at this sign. It says, do not disturb. The person who lives here doesn't want visitors. Let's go, he said, pulling on his brother's arm. No way, Kyle said. I want to meet this person. Do you think he or she can tell us secrets about the woods? Who knows? I really don't want to find out, Caleb said, shaking. Okay, so you are going to begin drafting your own dialogue using your column chart. Remember to show your character's feelings as you write. Also, use commas and quotation marks correctly with dialogue. All right, that's going to show where your characters are speaking. Make sure to also use different kinds of sentences. So you're going to pause the video and you are going to write a draft of your own based on your own column chart and your two characters and what they found and decided to do.